Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at something a little bit special here. It is a brand new release from U2 called Live at the Apollo, but this isn't something you can get in stores. This is actually a fan club only release. So if you're one of their subscribers to their online website and everything, portal that has a whole bunch of extra stuff in it and whatnot, annually they give away something special like this to the fans as a thank you. And for this year, it is the Live at Apollo. And I will do a full review and unboxing of that. But before we do, if you are new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with taking a look at the brand new U2 Live at the Apollo release. So as I mentioned, this thing it's an annual thing. And this goes way back to the 80s when they had their magazine propaganda. Before the internet, they did a magazine that went out to fans. Now you just log in and you get all your news and everything like that. But they still do the annual gift to subscribers, to fan club members. And for this year, it is the Live at the Apollo. You can see behind me a couple others there, like the Innocence and Experience tour and the 360 one as well. So they've got some cool things that come out. If you are a U2 fan and you've never checked out the website or checked out what the subscription offers, it is really quite worth it. It's generally $50 a year. They actually did a discount this year. It was $40, so made it even more worthwhile. So the show itself was a one-off special concert done for Sirius XM Radio, and it was filmed live at the Apollo in New York City on June 11th of 2018. So it goes back before the pandemic. They did put together a special 18-song set list for this. So this was not the current tour and shows they were doing back in 2018. It was not the Joshua tour or any of that. So they actually did something unique for this, which was really cool. And it was all in an attempt to honor the history of the Apollo and the legacy of performers that were there, like Louis Armstrong, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, just to name a few. The band decided that to set the tone for the show, that they would return to their roots as well, and they would open with 3 tracks from the earliest shows that they performed in America back in 1980. So they kick off with I Will Follow, The Electric Company, and go right into Out of Control, which was the single off the first album at the time. And, part of the reason that they did this was that they wanted to show that before all the lights, the stage effects, the props, the huge big stadium shows that they would get into, all that sort of stuff, it was the music that mattered first. And they do plenty of newer material as well, like Red Flag Day, Get Out of Your Own Way, and American Soul. But of course, they also do classics like Pride in the Name of Love, Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, and Beautiful Day. So the show itself, though, is kind of interesting. It's broken down into 2 different sets, if you will, and it's also done that way on the discs. So the first one being disc 1, which is like a regular U2 show. You get 11 tracks on that, which is really great. But then they come back out with special guests. And that's the second disc of this. And so for that, they create some pretty unique performances that are really interesting on the second disc, giving it something special as well. And the band performs with the Sun Ra Orchestra. And now I say that a little off, but it's how it's spelled. And that's intentional for the way that that's done. There's a whole history behind it. But they added horns to a number of their songs, Angel of Harlem, Desire, When Love Comes to Town, all things too that were celebrating the R&B and bands of that nature when the band did its Rattle and Hum tour and album back in, I think it was like 1990. So that's part of the legacy of both U2 and the Apollo Theater all being celebrated here, which is pretty cool that they've done this. And then Bono and The Edge, they do a piano and vocal performance of Every Breaking Wave, which is really great to hear. Just those 2 do it. It's beautifully done, really quite moving too when it's heard. And then they close the show out with Love is Bigger Than Anything in Your Way, or In Its Way. So let's take a look at this though. This is the book itself, and it does come with a few extra goodies, which I'll get into in just a bit, but it is a book. The way that it's done, that's the back side, and so you can see the track listing that's on it in case you want to pause and run through the whole thing. but well done, and it's got this nice glossy cover to it, and kind of interesting the way they've done the art. It's kind of double print, one on top of the other, almost as though the band is kinetic and moving the way they would in a show. But when we open it up, this is what we get here. We get the first disc there in the front, and the second disc is in the back, and these things slide out pretty easily in there, so no worries there about that. And then it's got a really great booklet of images from the performance. It's got a write-up from it, which is where I was getting a lot of this info from. Of course, you can get that online. But they tell a nice history about this and why they did this and what it was all meant, and just some really great photos like that one that's in here. Check that one out. That's a good, shot of the whole theater there. Just some really, really nice shots throughout this, if I can get to my favorite, which is that one there. So smaller stage, definitely, right? Not the big stadium shows that they've done, which made this one, of course, more intimate and special and so forth. And then in the back, you get some track listing information, performers, and that sort of stuff. So all in all, very, very cool thing. And it does, of course, have great sound. I mean, every U2 live album does. That's why I didn't go into a lot about each song and how it sounds and that sort of stuff, because it all sounds really, really good. Despite the intimate venue, it sounds like a full, big on show, which is cool. And then, as I mentioned, you get a couple things that come with this as well. You do get a mask for the pandemic era. The only problem is it doesn't fit. It's way too small. So I guess if you have a child, you can pass that on to them and turn them into a U2 fan. And then you get these cool postcards that come with it. And I'll just slide this band off of it here, and we'll go through each one. There's the cover and the back side. So if you wanted to send them out, but if you're a fan like me, you'll never do that, because of course you want to keep each of these things because they're collector's items. But cool nonetheless. And if you did have a cool U2 fan, you could mail them one of those. So there you go. Very, cool stuff and interesting. And again, not just music, not just a book. You also get some extra little memorabilia pieces to go along with it. Certainly check the description below for links to related videos. In particular, I've done a full run through of all of my fan club releases for U2. So if you want to know about the two that are behind me there and some of the other ones, check a link for the description below. And I did a separate full review for the Innocence and Experience one minute when it came out originally. So again, I'll leave a link to that one below. But all right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.